Have you ever modulated your faith downward to your human limitations? Have you ever modulated or adjusted or calculated your faith downward to your human limitations? The Bible says in Ephesians 3:20, now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than we could ever ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us. That text tells us that we can ask and we can imagine that God could do even more than our imagination. But what happens to many of us, and maybe this happens to you sometimes, I know it happens to me, is that even though the Bible says that God can do immeasurably more than I can ask or imagine, I modulate my expectations, or I adjust my expectations. Instead of raising my faith, I actually modulate my expectations of God. He says that he can do more than we can ask or imagine. So think about what you can ask. Think about how much you can imagine. Many of us don't even ask God to the highest level of our human imagination. So if our human imagination is here, we'll ask God to hear. And for some of us who have even more faith, we'll ask God to hear. But God is saying this is the ceiling of human imagination, and you don't even ask all the way up to human imagination. And he's saying, I can actually do more, but God doesn't even do the more dimension because our expectations are still at human limitation.